بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين، على نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back to our Fajr Quran Dars, where we study ayat of the Quran, and now we are learning some lessons in ayat of Surah Hud from ayah 17 to 24. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Ayah 18 actually. وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنِ افْتَرَى عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا أُولَئِكَ يُعْرَضُونَ عَلَى رَبِّهِمْ وَيَقُولُ الْأَشْهَادُ هَؤُلَاءِ الَّذِينَ كذبوا على ربهم ألا لعنة الله على الظالمين الذين يصدون عن سبيل الله ويبغونها عوجا وهم بالآخرة هم كافرون أولئك لم يكونوا معجزين في الأرض وما كان لهم من دون الله من أولياء يضاعف لهم العذاب ما كانوا يستطيعون السمع وما كانوا يبصرون أولئك الذين خسروا أنفسهم وضل عنهم ما كانوا يفترون لا جرم أنهم في الآخرة هم الأخسرون إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وأخبتوا إلى ربهم أولئك أصحاب الجنة هم فيها خالدون مثل الفريقين كالأعمى والأصم والبصير والسميع هل يستويان مثلا أفلا تذكرون ولقد أرسلنا نوحا إلى قومه إني لكم نذير مبين صدق الله العظيم. Surah Hud, ayah number 18. Before we start 18, let's look at the summary of what we studied yesterday. And we know these passages, these ayat from the beginning are consistent with the topic, with the main theme and subject of the whole surah, discussing Iman, our belief, and the fundamentals of Iman and Iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Ma'ad the Akhirah, the afterlife. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala challenges those who deny and reject, they do not believe in the Quran, by calling them to produce something even fabricated similar to this Quran, even in 10 surahs like this, and call everyone they can for their help. But they will not be able to do that, and they never did that actually. So that proves this is revealed by the ilm, the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is a very great lesson that we should, as believers, as Muslims, we should have this strong yaqeen that this Quran and every ayah in the Quran, every hukum, every fact in the Quran has been revealed from the infinite, all encompassing, all knowing, knowledge, full, complete knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah mentioned in ayah 15 that the two different approaches in life, two different priorities and aims and goals inside our life. There are those who live for this dunya, and their whole focus and the entire business that they are engaged in from A to Z, day and night, the whole purpose is to focus on this world, this life, this dunya. They have no concept. Either verbally, they confess, they admit, they say they have no idea of akhirah, of next life. And so they don't even do anything for it. Or their actions, their lisanul hal shows that they have no idea of akhirah. Even that even includes some who may call and themselves as Muslims, and they may be among the believers, but their actions do not translate their iman in akhirah. And that's ayah 15. Allah says, those who struggle and work for this dunya, I will give them completely everything they want in this dunya. But they won't have nothing in akhirah except that they will be subjected to fire, because they had no focus, no goal of akhirah. Then Allah mentions in ayah 17 very clearly that those who are, and the top and the first person in this ayah is the Prophet ﷺ. Those who are on clear proof and strong conviction and yaqeen in their heart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from their master. They have no doubt, no raib, no confusion. So they have a strong yaqeen from Allah. Then another evidence, another proof follows that, and that is their fitrah, their natural disposition, their pure state that they were born in. And the third thing is the books of the past, that was the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to Musa alayhi salam, also confirms that this is from Allah. They believe in it, and whoever rejects it, their places, their promises, hellfire. Then there is a ta'reed, meaning the Prophet ﷺ is mentioned, but everybody else is meant by it, and that is فَلَا تَكُ فِي مِرْيَةٍ مِّنْهُ. Have no doubt of what any sort in this fact of Quran and Akhirah and Da'wah of Islam and everything. إِنَّهُ الْحَقِّ. This is all truth مِنْ رَبِّكَ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. But a lot of people, they don't believe. So a majority of people, they don't believe. And that is the fact of life, that one should not be concerned why a majority is not doing certain things, and that may create kind of confusion and doubt. No, a majority should not be the reason and the rule. The majority is not the rule. A lot of people may do something very, very gravely wrong. That doesn't make it correct. وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ, today's lesson, ayah number 18, Surah Hud. وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ, and who is more wrong? Who is more zalim? Woman, and who is أظلم, more wrongdoer, and zalim, mimman, from that, iftara, from that person, iftara, who fabricated, forged, made up, produced, alallahi, against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, kadiban, lies. Who is the greatest zalim from that person who produces and fabricates lies against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And that is primarily in the case of aqidah, of iman and faith. Several things. By na'udhu billah min haq, calling sharik, worshipping associates and shariks and partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of any source, idols, statues, or angels, or prophets, or whoever people may take as gods, that is the greatest lie against Allah. Because any minor or major element and principle of Aqidah and Creed should be approved and taught, revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So by the fact that someone calls on any other deity, any other God, that means they're na'udhu billah minha, claiming as if that has been appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is the greatest lie. Or calling any other claims that this is the path of Allah, this is the command of Allah, this is the rule and qanun and sharia of Allah, while it is not part of it. And knowingly fabricating, knowingly lying against Allah. That is the greatest dhulm. The biggest dhulm. There are other types of dhulm and wrongdoings and sins and crimes, but this is the biggest one of them. Ulaika, these people who claim such things against Allah, yu'raduna ala rabbihim. So they cannot escape. Their end result and final place is yu'raduna, they will be presented ala rabbihim, upon their master. Ard means when you have like a military march, a march or any type of march that you are passing by in front of someone or something. So yu'raduna, they will be brought up and presented on their master. And the word is yu'raduna, not ya'riduna. Ya'riduna means they themselves will come willingly. No, yu'raduna, that's passive voice, not active voice. Passive voice means they will be brought to be displayed and put in front of their master. Okay, so that's one serious warning, that they will be brought and there will be justice. And they will be brought not in front of some ordinary judge or any person or creation, but they will be brought in front of their master, the one who has the knowledge and complete information about every single minute thing in their life. That's one. وَيَقُولُ الْأَشْهَادُ, and then the witnesses will come. Ashhad is the plural of shahid. All the shahid, all those who were witnesses, they will come and they will testify against such person. Those who fabricated and forged, made up lies against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, who are ashhad? Ashhad, the witnesses, which is shahid, the plural is ashhad. Who are these people? The angels, first and foremost. The angels that are accompanying us, that are around us on daily basis. Some are there with us forever, some are changing daily, and there are different, there's another topic, how many angels accompany us on a daily basis. But there are, you know, uh, authentic hadith and explanations that at least 5 to 6 angels accompany and stay with a person every day. So those are the first witnesses. Al-Ashhad also means the prophets, the messengers who delivered the message of Tawheed, of oneness, of believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And then the Waratha, the inheritors of the prophets and messengers, scholars and teachers, genuine, true, haqq, ulama, who taught Tawheed and oneness of Allah and believing and worshipping Him alone. And more than that, Ashhad are also every single piece of the creation around us. And final and last thing is our own limbs, our own bodies. And this is mentioned in many other places, that our hands and our tongue, our hands and our even skin and feet and everything will testify against us if we have done something wrong. وَيَقُولُ الْأَشْهَادُ. And even it is said that the time in which we did something, especially that type of big major crime, and the place, the location where we did something, all these things will come together as ashhad, as witnesses against us or for us. So we cannot hide. Today's world, the technology makes this thing a little more understandable, that one can record themselves and save their whole entire life 24/7 through cameras. And there have been examples, or you may have seen some videos that someone has placed video cameras everywhere in his 24/7 life, in his car, in his house, in front of the house, inside his rooms, wherever he's moving, he wants to record himself. So Allah, by keeping all these records in the time, in the place, through angels, through our own limbs and bodies, and many other ways, all these will be brought up. And they will be saying, هَؤُلَاءِ الَّذِينَ كَذَبُوا. These are the people, they are those who كَذَبُوا, they lied عَلَى رَبِّهِمْ, against their own master. Allah. This is again a word of tanbih. Tanbih meaning calling attention, waking up someone. Allah meaning, hey, listen, watch, to catch the attention of the listener. Allah la'natullahi. Listen, the curse of Allah is ala zalimin, on wrongdoers. And curse here means, la'na means that being distant, away from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the meaning of la'na. Al-zalimin, those who did wrong. Now, they didn't wrong anyone. They wronged themselves by taking the wrong path. Alladina. Now, this is one of the examples, one of the actual practical example of their wrongdoing, of their dhulm. What is that? Alladina, these people who claimed lies and made up fabrications against Allah in worship, in their belief, and in their practices. These people did what? Yasudduna an sabilillah. So they primarily did two things. Number one, they prevented themselves and they hindered themselves from following the straight path, sabilillah, the path of Allah, and they also caused others to be prevented and stopped and hindered from the path of Allah. So two major crimes and sins. They themselves deprived themselves from the path, and they also uh, influenced and caused others, either actively influencing them, calling them and pushing them and lobbying them, or by their own actions in the society or in the family, in the society, in the workplace and others. When they act like that, even if they do not actively influence others, but indirectly they impact others to be blocked and stayed to be prevented from the path of Allah. Now the other, not only they did stop themselves and others, وَيَبْغُونَهَا عِوَجًا, and they sought, بغى يبغي, they sought, they were trying to seek this path, the sabil, the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the deen, and the system of belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They tried to seek in that one iwaja, crookedness. They tried to twist the facts and come up with the different types of accusations and different types of propaganda to twist the facts and make a point to the masses, to the people, to the public, that this path, this faith, this practice is wrong. Look at this and this and this facts. While these are not facts, they are twisting. They are taking it out of context. They're taking a part of the ayah or middle of the ayah or the end of the ayah, and they are generalizing it without looking at the whole context. And this is very, very true in today's world. That a lot of people come out and they try to propagate against Islam, against the deen of Allah, against believers, things that are absolutely not true, but they try to find somehow, some way to link it to Islam in a twisted and misinterpreted manner. And unfortunately, we should admit that the acts of some of the Muslims, some of believers, give them the reason, give them the impression that, look, Islam is calling all of this. Their deen is just like that. And, because of our ignorance, like when it comes to our women's rights, when it comes to minorities' rights, when it comes to some other basic fundamental things, and in which we fail to actually implement and follow the true teachings of Islam. So the enemies of Islam and those who hate, they take that and then disproportionately, they blow that out and call it iwaja, a crookedness and wrong in Islam. وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ كَافِرُونَ. And the fact is that these people definitely, they disbelieve in akhirah. So all of that stems their blocking of people from Islam. They're practicing, everything to find fault in Islam without any, due process and evidence. All of that is because they don't believe in akhirah. أولئك لم يكونوا معجزين في الأرض. Now, whatever they do, that is just they are trying in this life, but they cannot. لم يكونوا معجزين. These people cannot and are not able to معجزين, to make ajiz. Ajiz means to disable, to make someone or something weak, to weaken something. So they cannot weaken Allah, na'udhu billah minha, and they cannot weaken the deen of Allah in the earth. They have, yes, they can do everything in their power to try to, twist and change facts, but they cannot disable anything. وَمَا كَانَ لَهُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ أَوْلِيَاءٍ. And وَمَا كَانَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ, without Allah, besides below Allah, or any guardians, any protectors. They will not have anyone. For such people, يُضَاعَفُ لَهُمُ الْعَذَابِ. Their adhab, their punishment will be doubled. And yudha'afu not only means double, but it will be multiplied because of the graveness, seriousness of their actions. They did it to themselves, and they try to block and prevent and cause harm to others. And they try to now, find fault and seek wrong inside the deen, unjustly, biasly. Because of all of that, their adhab will be multiplied. مَا كَانُوا يَسْتَطِيعُونَ السَّمْعَ وَمَا كَانُوا يُبْصِرُونَ. Now, why is that happening? They could listen, they could see, they could understand, but they blocked all those windows. They have eyes, but they were not seeing the truth. They have ears to hear, but they could not hear the truth, to understand, to analyze, to put them inside, and to be benefited from. So مَا كَانُوا يَسْتَطِيعُونَ السَّمْعَ. They were not able to listen because of their stubbornness, their strong and staunch opposition. Purposely, knowingly, willingly, they blocked those windows of understanding. وَمَا كَانُوا يُبْصِرُونَ. And they were not seeing the truth. So although they were, perfectly capable, but they, through their actions and choices, they turned blind and they turned deaf. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا. Now, what is the consequence of such people? What happens to them in the end? What is the end result? Do they gain anything? Do they prosper? أُولَٰئِكَ, these people, الَّذِينَ, they are those, خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُم. They actually lost themselves. Very good word, lost themselves. Because once in Akhirah, they are judged to be doomed, that they actually lost themselves. They incurred the greatest loss on themselves, by themselves. Nobody caused them that. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُم. They made that khusran, that nuqsan, that loss for themselves. وَضَلَّ عَنْهُمْ. And lost are from them مَا كَانُوا يَفْتَرُونَ. Everything that they were fabricating. All the claims that they were making against Allah, against the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is all lost now. That is of no benefit for them. No matter how much they tried, how much money and resources they used and utilized, and it is all now gone. Nothing is available for them now. وَضَلَّ, it means that has been lost totally. Ayah number 22, لَا جَرَمَ, definitely, sure, for sure, أَنَّهُمْ, these people indeed, fil akhirati, in the next life, in akhirah, whom they, only these people, al-akhsarun, they are the greatest of losers. Now there are others, and like we said, the greatest of wrong they committed in this dunya, and that greatest wrong and dhulm caused them to be the greatest of losers in the akhirah. Humul akhsarun. Now there are two words meaning losers, those who are in loss. Khasirun and akhsarun. Khasirun means normal losers, those who incurred loss on themselves. Akhsarun is the superlative form. They are the greatest and the most serious of all losers. Now, this is very serious. When we, in our aqidah, in our iman, in our creed, we claim and things that are not true. Or when we, for some reason, try to twist and turn and change and knowingly know this is wrong, but we still are stubborn to do it, and we call others to such things, we try to influence and impact others, this is all going to end up in that category. Inna alladhina, ayah number 23. This is now Allah giving the example of the other side. These were the disbelievers, the rejectors and the deniers, those who claimed false and fabricated and made up things. But other side, the believers, those who did, they had iman, then they followed their iman with good deeds, and in everything, in their iman and in their good deeds, in their affairs, in their acts, in their manners and everything, they were humble. They had showed humility, devotion, complete, full, total devotion and dedication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now Allah shows their consequence, their outcome, their end result. Inna alladhina, indeed, no doubt, those people, amanu, who had believed, who had iman. And right after iman, they didn't stop right there. It wasn't just a lip service. Yes, I believe, I have iman, I know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I believe in God. And they just stop there. No, that's not enough. That iman, that faith now should translate and show into actions. So what are the actions? Amilu salihat. Then they do good deeds, corrective actions. And all of that is based on wa akhbatu. And they humbled themselves. No, mukhbit is the person who completely, fully devotes and dedicates himself with humility and humbleness and showing absolute respect. Wa akhbatu. And this is a good word, mukhbitin. It is mentioned in other places in the Quran too. Wa akhbatu, and they humbled themselves. They showed humility and respect and from themselves in everything they do. And they did it ila rabbihim, for Allah. They humbled themselves in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by not claiming anything wrong, by not twisting and changing, by following and obeying and respecting in the best possible manner. Akhbatu ila rabbihim ulaika ashabul jannah. Now their end result is these people are the companions of Jannah. Ulaika, these, ashabu, their companion, they are the owners, they are the people of Al-Jannah, the gardens, the paradise, whom they will be, fiha, in it, in the Jannah, khalidun, forever. Now that Jannah will never perish. They will not be there for a period of time. Once they enter with the mercy of Allah, they will be there forever. Now, ayah number 24 ends and gives a good summarized picture of the two groups, the deniers, the rejectors, and those who claim things against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They fabricate and lie, and they twist and turn facts, and those who believe truly, fully, and unconditionally with humbleness and humility. They believe the example of the similitude and the likeness of these two groups. Mathalu, the likeness, the similitude, the example of al-fariqaini, of these two categories, these two groups. It is like kal-a'ma wal-asam. On one side, the deniers, the disbelievers, like the blind and the deaf, as if they cannot see or hear. On the other side, the believers, wal-basiri was-sami', those who see and hear. Yeah, they may be blind physically, by the way, or they may be deaf physically, but their heart, their conscious, their soul, their inner self is open to understanding and learning and seeing. Are these two examples equal? This is a rhetorical question. It doesn't need an answer, but it is a question that begs absolute affirmation, yes, that no way they can be equal. Who can say that the blind and the deaf are just like the ones who can see and hear? This is physically, physically and faculty wise, they are two different people. هل يستويان مثلا أفلا تذكرون. Now the end is a kind of another question that also does not need answer, but it mentions and indicates and emphasizes another fact. That means أفلا تذكرون. Then why don't they be reminded? Why don't they learn? Tadhkir. Tadhkir means when you are reminded of something and you get it, you answer to it, you respond in positive to it. So أفلا تذكرون, then aren't they? Is question word. Fa means then after knowing this fact, la, they are not تذكرون. Then are they not reminded? And do they not benefit from that reminder and wake up for that? Now this is the end of today's lesson, giving the clear the clear picture of these two sides, two categories, two groups of people in a very brief, concise, and precise manner. Inshallah, tomorrow we will start to study the case, real life case of prophets and messengers. And just like Surah Yunus, we will start with the learning about Nuh alayhi salam. But the difference between the mention of prophets and messengers here and Surah Yunus is here we will see more detail, more explanation of their struggle and hard work. And inshallah, we will go probably a little faster because their stories are mentioned in a very attractive and good and chronological order. So it's easy just to go into that story and make it a little faster, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.